Heidelberg, Germany. After spending a summer here in 1878, Mark Twain wrote, "One thinks Heidelberg by day, with its surroundings, is the last possibility of the beautiful." This city's got a kind of storybook beauty that begs you to grab a seat on a park bench and let your surroundings soak in. But beyond the old buildings and cobblestone streets, there's something else that makes this city special. Something I can't quite put my finger on yet. What drove endless artists, painters, and poets, such as Mark Twain, to create here? I plan to find out. And my first step is to ask the very man himself.
Oh, my name is Mark Twain.
Mark Twain?
Yes.
Has the Mark Twain taken over Claus, or is Claus still in control of the Mark Twain? Are you having some like Bruce Wayne and Batman
it depends
struggle?
How many of these beers I drink. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Our world moves fast, and most of the time I'm running full speed ahead with it. But every now and then, an adventurer like myself needs to stop and take a breath.
We need more people like you in the world.
I'm Ryan Pyle, and I'm always on the move.
It's an exciting place to be.
But this time around, I'm taking things a bit slower.
Oh, I didn't think this was going to go this way. Wow.
Making new friends through lasting experiences.
I came to Heidelberg to meet inspiring people.
And finding home in all the places in between.
These walls are incredible.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
This is the Nomad. As I'm setting off to explore the cities of the world, I wanted to look beyond the most famous tourism destinations to find the hidden gems that are less familiar to international travelers like me. Located 78 kilometers from Frankfurt in southwestern Germany lies Heidelberg. Heidelberg is famously one of Germany's most beautiful and well-preserved cities. Its rich history draws 12 million visitors a year, and it's easy to see why. Almost every square and street corner provides a glimpse into the past.
Walking the streets of Heidelberg, you can feel 800 years of history. The streets really haven't changed much, even though the city has been rebuilt several times over those centuries. But you can feel the history, you can feel the inspiration. There's people on the streets. It's just nice, you know. I really just enjoy walking the town and observing life.
The past is the foundation for the present here in a very real way. Architecturally, economically, and culturally. Talk to anyone in Heidelberg and you're likely to hear about its most famous institution, Heidelberg University. It's the oldest in Germany and the reason tens of thousands of students and staff come here each year.
When I walk around Heidelberg, I'm obviously inspired. The history of Heidelberg is one of the reasons why I've wanted to come here for many years.
Well, let's talk about Mark Twain then.
Okay, so he was here for a while?
He was here he even wrote about this place.
Oh, did he?
So we will stay with this place.
Okay.
Okay, the story goes like this. Mark Twain in the 1870s had a writer's crisis.
That happens.
That happens, but he had also debts. He had to pay. What can you do? First, start to travel. Get away from the people.
Chasing you for the debts.
Indeed.
Okay.
Second, get inspiration while traveling. Write a book about that, because writing a book about traveling is easier than writing a novel.
Yes.
1/3 was his own, 1/3 he made up,
Sure.
and 1/3 was taken from other, let's say, publications.
And it was called fiction.
It was called fiction.
So we're actually in the student prison of
Yes.
Heidelberg University.
Yes.
And around us, correct me if I'm wrong, is student created graffiti.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yes.
I've never seen anything like this.
Well, there are only a few spaces in Germany where you can see things like that these days.
Okay.
And only in Heidelberg you have a building, an entire building dedicated to, let's say, art like this.
Right.
Christian leads me around the student prison, and it seems like every square inch of wall is covered in graffiti. It's hard to imagine that some of these drawings are hundreds of years old. it looks less like a prison and more like a modern art exhibition.
They say, hi, I'm a student now. I'm a man. And what does a real tough guy do?
Go to prison.
Go to prison! Machismo included.
So students were going out getting in trouble on purpose so that
Yes.
they could come through this building
Yes.
where we're sitting right now as a rite of passage to becoming a man.
Right. Oh, and by the way, I'm quite hungry. No problem. You can leave the prison if you want to go to a restaurant later.
it
Tells
was like
the
a-
janitor.
it was
And
like a hotel.
Yeah, it's like a hotel. By the way, hotel, wonderful, because
Right.
the janitor will also ask you, sorry, did you bring the rent?
Oh, really? You had
Yeah.
to pay to be in the student prison.
Rent.
So this was like a party hotel.
A party zone of the late 19th century
For
from
students.
For students, which explains, wait a minute, they start to paint on the walls.
Right.
Because they want you to remember them. Hey, we were here, we were cool. Remember us. And things like all these silhouettes that you see all around us, that I always say is the selfie of the 19th century.
The selfie of the 19th century are the silhouettes on the walls.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you can do that with the help of a friend in a few minutes.
Right, because you just shine a light on them and then you outline it
Yes.
and then you fill it in
Yes.
black. Yeah, yeah.
That is the gag. So the selfie of the 19th century greets you all over the place, but of course we have art as well.
The past here is deep and rich and quite wonderful. And the deeper we kind of get into understanding the past of Heidelberg, the more sense the future makes, the more sense the people we're meeting today seems to make. And the way that Heidelberg attracted romantics and intellectuals hundreds of years ago, and then you see the people that are still coming to Heidelberg today to plant their own flag, to create something on their own. It's an attraction that still exists today, and it's an attraction that brought me here. And then when you sit here in this student prison, you can feel it. It's amazing.
One of this new generation of Heidelberg natives staking their claim is Pascal Baumgartner.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Pascal is the founder and curator of the Metropolitan Art Festival. The festival invites artists from all over the world to create installations and murals across the city. Pascal also spearheaded one of Heidelberg's most ambitious projects, the conversion of an abandoned American military base into one of Germany's largest art galleries. Empty apartment blocks, office buildings, and even a grocery store have all been transformed into massive canvases. It's an area designed for foreign military powers, recontextualized to benefit the city's culture.
No one had a clue what was happening here, what buildings been here, no one. And one architect, a friend of mine, he's like, come on, I have a key.
Wow.
You should check out this supermarket.
Right.
I said, oh, come on, supermarket. What should I do in a supermarket? But I didn't know that was that huge.
Right.
So we went and we checked out the place and we found out this could be one of the biggest art galleries in Germany because there's a 60-meter long wall, 7-meter high, and all the artists that see this wall, I have seen this wall, are like flipping out. I was like, wow, we should do something here.
Perfect canvas.
Perfect canvas.
Right. So who is the artist whose room we are in?
His name is Peluca, his artist's name, and he's doing crazy stuff. I knew he was doing crazy stuff, and he was calling me, saying, I'm in Germany, you have the festival, you have Metropolitan going on,
Right.
can I pass by? And so he started getting into all these details and creating a whole concept of this place. And finally, people love it, and we loved it as well.
It's amazing and terrifying all at the same time. So I guess that's what
Yeah.
that's what good artwork is.
Yeah, I think that's what whole room installations should be at the same time. After 2 years, of doing this, which was quite successful, I got elected for the city parliament.
Oh, really? Are you a politician?
I was, so like,
okay.
I was 26 years old. No, 25.
Yeah.
It was like Saturday elected, Monday first reunion in the parliament, and I had no idea of what was going on. You know, I was like, what the fuck? It was really interesting for me because I learned how a city is working, how a land is working, how a country is working, how all these administrations are working, and without this knowledge, I think I couldn't be in here right now.
Hearing Pascal's story, I can't help think that this is the kind of space that could only exist in Heidelberg. It's not often you find a local government so willing to give artists space to create on such a large scale.
Now you're building here, potentially Germany's largest art gallery, and you're bringing in international artists to do their work here, to then be shared with the wider world. And you're definitely at the forefront of what Heidelberg is going to be in the art world, and it's really exciting.
I think so, yeah.
From Mark Twain's writer's retreat, to the graffiti-lined walls in the student prison, to the murals by international artists working with Pascal, it feels creativity is deeply woven into the fabric of this city. Traveling into the forested hills above Heidelberg, I'm headed to meet with an artist channeling his creativity into a different kind of medium. I'm meeting with Robert Riddell, the executive chef at Aubin, a Michelin-starred restaurant creating internationally recognized food with almost exclusively local ingredients.
I think people always have the feeling to be in a special place here, because it is. It's a magical place, the building, the surrounding. Aura, everything is like magical. Even people from Heidelberg city, they go only 10 to 15 minutes to come here. And they have the feeling they are outside the city, they are outside their daily life, away from stress, away from everything. And I think they appreciate to be here in quietness, nice setup, nice food.
I know when I typically think of a Michelin-starred restaurant, and I'm the first to admit my experience is limited, I think of bustling kitchens full of servers and cooks in tall white chef hats. There's none of that at Aubin. The atmosphere is welcoming and homey. It's just Robert and his small team, cooking out in the open, allowing his diners to experience his process.
You may begin, Robert, doing whatever you need to do.
Well, as you said, at the moment we are prepping our autumn menu. So every season we change completely our menu.
Sure.
Our menu is like 14 different combinations, like different courses, 13 courses. At this, we need 2 to 3 days to prep all the new dishes before we can start with the menu. And well, it's a kind of testing, kind of producing, kind of tryouts. And at the moment we just produce some courses for that.
What is this pickled cabbage?
Rose leaves.
Rose leaves.
Yeah. I open this on the table. Yeah. Make like this. And so they have it in a perfect moment because it will be crispy and still hot. Yeah. Then I put it back to the glass. It's those goat's cheese from a local farm.
Yeah.
Buckwheat waffle.
Yeah.
And pickled yellow rose leaves.
Beautiful. Yeah. Do I just eat it in one?
If you can. Yesterday it was not so tasty because it was just crispy and has not a special taste. But if you eat it like a bread, it's good. You're the first one to try it.
Am I?
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks, boss. It's a special experience to see Robert's creative process in real time, experimenting with textures and flavors. Normally, as a diner, you only get to see the finished product. But here, we're getting front row seats to watch a master artist create. I can't help but envy the guests who will be sitting in these coveted seats later this week.
You don't mind my questions?
No, it's good.
It's all good.
Sometimes I feel a little bit, I'm missing some words,
It's okay.
but I think you will manage.
We will.
Yeah, I guess this is what our kitchen makes like a little bit more interesting than the others, or like that we try to take our guests to like a journey and like to show them our worlds and how things happens in the kitchen. And we also take the customers like you in the kitchen, and we also have a chat like with you now.
Yeah.
And they can ask questions. They can just follow or look around here and see what happens.
Sure.
And they really think it. I think they appreciate it and they like it. I have a straight response from guests or from if it's good or not good. I think this is also a big point when it comes up to cooking. You serve and it's good or it's not good. People will eat or they will not eat.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we don't want to change this system. We could sit now 40 people inside, but we don't think about that. We want to keep it like this. It's like one of the core parts which makes it such a good place, such an authentic place.
What makes Oban feel special is the interactive element to dining here. There are no dividing walls between the dining area and the kitchen. The kitchen is completely exposed. Robert and his team invite their guests to come behind the scenes.
We always collect things for our storage. So, for example, in spring and summer, we collect things which we don't know what we are going to use it for.
Okay.
For example, nuts or spruce sprouts or different magnolia blossoms, herbs, and we preserve them with drying, with pickling, and with even freezing.
Okay.
And when it's time to make a new menu, I see I have this and this ingredients. Maybe I can combine it with this and this fish or this and this vegetable. It's really nice to don't cook like international food, but cook your local ingredients, and so you make it much more interesting for customers to travel to regions because they taste regions, and every different region will taste different. Our best dishes are made of potatoes, onions, cabbage, char, and like this. And when they leave the restaurant, they're all happy, and we don't think they miss anything.
Am I going to come to Heidelberg and eat in 10 different restaurants and pretend to be a food critic? No, I don't know anything about that. I would never do that. I came to Heidelberg to meet inspiring people, and Robert is an inspiring character. And through him, I'm enjoying learning about his passion for cooking and his passion for experiential cooking and his passion for giving his customers the very best that he has to offer. And it's beautiful, even if I'm not a foodie, even if I spend most of my life living in a tent, eating food out of a bag.
It's true. Most of the time these days, I find myself roughing it on the trail and sleeping outdoors with no electricity and no refrigeration. When you're out in the middle of nowhere, fine dining isn't really an option. Out there, eating is purely about survival. But that doesn't mean I can't appreciate a good meal when it comes my way.
And fill that guy up pretty good. Not bad. What am I eating again? Chicken fried rice. 15 minutes. And we got... Okay, it's pretty average. It tastes like any other meal. I actually can't identify the chicken or the fried or the rice. And oh, that soft one might have been chicken.
Back in town, I figure it's time to finally visit Heidelberg's most iconic landmark. Looming over the city, the ruins of Heidelberg Castle are an awe-inspiring reminder of the history here. They were the subject of works by Mark Twain, Victor Hugo, and countless others that found themselves drawn to its crumbling beauty. I had the chance to meet with the curator overseeing the castle, Dr. Uta Koberger, to learn more about its history.
Ruins are, of course, not perfect.
No.
They are not finished. They are broken, and it gives an inspiration for your fantasy.
So one of the reasons why I wanted to come to Heidelberg is because of the castle and because of the romanticism and because of the great artists and writers who have passed through here and been inspired by it. So I wanted to understand that tradition. I wanted to come here and see it from my own eyes and spend time in the city and see if it touched me, see if it enlightened me, see if it inspired me the same way it has others. And it's amazing.
It works?
It works. It works. I don't know how it works, but it works. Like I think ruins attract artists and storytellers and writers because I think they all see themselves as being broken in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a strong connection with that. You know, the imperfection, finding beauty in imperfection.
The imperfection is exactly what makes the castle so compelling. Over the centuries, it's been victim to multiple wars and disasters, including being struck by lightning twice, each time causing huge fires. Those scars remain intact, constant reminders of its history. Dr. Koberger explained that in the Romantic era of the early 19th century, various thinkers, artists, and poets began to view the ruined castle in a new light, recognizing the beauty and the tragedy of its imperfect state. This may be depicted best in some of the works by the English Romantic painter William Turner. And of course, any trip to the castle is incomplete without visiting the Heidelberg Tun, a massive wine keg which can hold a whopping 200,000 bottles of wine. This keg alone could get the entire city of Heidelberg drunk in one go. As a global nomad always on the move, I sacrifice familiarity for variety, always throwing myself into the deep end of a new culture. It seems with each new person I meet, I gain some new context for understanding this complex and dynamic city.
You know, as a global nomad, I don't really have a fixed home to go back to, so I pick and choose my cities quite carefully, and Heidelberg has been on my list of places to visit for a long time. And you know, it's got 800 years of history. There's a ruined castle up on the hill. We're surrounded by mountains. I'm on a bridge over the Neckar River. It's an exciting place to be. Whether the sun is out or the weather is a bit rough like it is today, it doesn't really matter. You know, when you walk these streets, you can feel something. The city has its own presence, and you can tell that people have been coming here for hundreds of years searching for inspiration, like I have. And it's nice. I'm enjoying every day of it.
The sun comes out and I'm back wandering again. How can you not love this place? I'm sure the locals are used to it, but as I walk the streets, I can't help but feel like I'm being taken back in time. Looking at the rooftops and the cobblestone streets, it's impossible not to romanticize, to imagine yourself here hundreds of years ago, drinking beer at a local pub or a coffee at a cafe. I decide to stop in at Vetter's Brewery, a family establishment in the Old Town pouring up various regional specialities and seasonal brews. I share a pint with Jan, a bartender at Vetter, but also a city guide, to hear his local perspective.
what I like about Heidelberg the most, probably, if I had to put it in words, is this contrast between the ruined castle and the beautiful landscape. And then you come to the city and it's full of life, and there's people from all over the world. Yeah? So on a good day, you walk in High Street and within a couple of 100 meters, you hear 5, 10 different languages spoken.
As I walk along High Street, I think of the experiences I've had myself with other cultures through language barriers. My thoughts wander back to a time I spent in the Badain Jarain Desert when I crossed with my guide and camel driver Hassamong, who only spoke Chinese. While we didn't speak the same language, our time together connected us, our struggle through unforgiving landscapes. I trusted Hassamong, learned from him, and looked up to him. Hassamong and I joked together as we crossed the desert and experienced things together that I can't say I've ever experienced with anyone else, all without truly sharing a common word. In the end, it didn't matter. I found one of the things I love best about my nomadic lifestyle is the new friends I meet everywhere I go.
Yeah, it's a heightened existence. I love it. Every day I'm inspired by someone new or some place new, or I get to see something new or learn something new.
Yeah, but I think it's hard to live a family life, for example. When you drive around all the time.
That's not an option. Yeah, I think you have to make that choice quite early.
You're not afraid that maybe one day you wake up and say, "Hey, what did I do? I missed so much."
I think that everything has cost. The family life has cost. The nomad life has cost. If you want to join the military or you want to dedicate your life to religion, everything has cost.
That's right. Like mine.
Yeah, and it's just hard to know what you want to accept at what stage in your life. And I think the most important thing is, as we enjoy our beers, you have to allow yourself the freedom to change your mind. You have to allow yourself the flexibility to grow and have new ideas and make changes as necessary.
No,
and not be too hard on yourself.
This is something Mark Twain would have loved to hear.
Oh, yeah?
That I'm sure. Because he said that there's nothing better to form a character than travel around. Yeah. Travel forms a man.
Yeah.
And I think he's right.
Yeah. Traveling kills prejudice.
That's right.
Traveling kills racism. Traveling kills ignorance.
Exactly what he said.
Yeah. I walk every day in his footsteps of those words because they're powerful. The more you travel, the more you educate yourself, and the more you educate yourself, I think the better human being you are.
Yeah, but imagine the whole world traveling.
Yeah.
Who will stay at home then?
I don't know.
And see your films on the telly.
Oh, you can watch them on your phones when you're in the subway.
Okay.
And
we are modern times now, yes.
How strange to have a professional Mark Twain impersonator challenge my way of life over a pint. To me, this is what it's all about. Meeting individuals that I could have never imagined, getting a glimpse into their thoughts and perspectives on our world.
The townsmen of Heidelberg came up to the ruin and took the stones.
Oh, really?
So yes, you can find in the old town of Heidelberg, you can find some ornaments or capitals from the castle.
Embedded in the very streets and buildings, Heidelberg forces you to acknowledge its history. But that's not all it has to offer. There's a whole generation of people here trying to move this city forward.
Heidelberg was always been an inspiring place for people doing inspiring things, writing texts, painting pictures, whatever. But this is like, for us, for our generation, seems really far away and seems long ago. And the identity of the city is built up on what those guys were doing. And we need to build up new things.
Things like the plant-based menu featured at the Nomad, a cafe in town.
Sometimes I think that people are scared of trying new things. They want others to try it first. They'd be like, okay, let's see how that works out. And then when they see it's good, okay, now I'll try it too. More and more people come and try, and they really like it. And sometimes they don't even realize that what they're just eating is vegan, or
Right.
they don't miss meat with their sandwich. And I think that's progress.
Each city needs a modern identity and a dynamic identity, and that's the thing. We need to bring younger people that are interested in castles and ruins, but maybe they stay one day longer to see the new stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. Not just for one day. Bring guys who maybe want to make a living here, or maybe want to stay for more days to see what else is going on.
And there really is so much going on here. Heidelberg feels busy for a city of its size. But as a tourist, I know I'm missing a lot. So I meet up with Robert to spot the things I might have passed by otherwise. I tag along as he comes into the city to run some errands, picking up some ingredients for the debut of his new menu tonight at Auban. Robert points out little alleyways and corners, each accompanied by memories of nights out with friends. It's refreshing to see the city through his eyes. Robert's a friendly face. Around town, people stop to say hello as we pass. They greet me too. When I climb mountains and trek through jungles, I don't really get the chance to do this, to know my hosts in this kind of capacity. Right now, I'm just enjoying walking around with Robert, getting an understanding of his personal history here. It gives me a better picture of the city and who I'm spending time with. This isn't Robert, the chef of Auban. This is just Robert. Robert has to get back to the restaurant to prepare for his menu's debut, but he invites me to observe tonight as guests will try out his new dishes for the first time. I'll definitely stop by. But first, he suggests I visit his friend Milan, who runs Bent Bar, one of the best cocktail bars in town.
So look, my friend Robert told me that this is the best place in all of Heidelberg to come in for a cocktail. Was he right?
We're trying our best.
Okay. So first of all, already amazing bar. You know, you come in off the street, you don't even know the bar is here. It's like a speakeasy. Like you have to know where it is in order to be able to come in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's quite hidden. We always say, who wants to find us will find us.
So I have to tell you, I never have mixed drinks. I always just have a single malt whiskey. But please, can we have one of those? It sounds lovely.
Milan is such a cool and collected presence. He wants to make me a Seattleite, one of his favorite cocktails from America.
Will you have one as well?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Yes,
That's great.
Of course.
Walk me through this. What's this one?
Okay, we make now the sweet sour base.
Okay.
In the first instance, I also work with the eye, so I can see how much it is, and its most exact moment is the first moment in the glass.
Okay.
Because lemon is sensitive.
Okay.
And of course, fresh squeezed lemon. And now this is an orange liquor. It's sweet, but not as sweet as sugar. And it's got a nice herbal taste from the orange peel, the oils, the bitters from the orange peel. Then some honey. It's a honey syrup because real honey doesn't work fine when it's getting with ice. It's getting too hard, so you can't shake it.
All right.
We give it a first shake to mix the ingredients.
Okay.
This was only for cooling down the glasses.
Oh, really? You cool down the glass?
And then we double strain.
Double strain.
The drink, because then the egg white gets a little bit more fine and foamy, not so rough.
Beautiful.
Okay, so.
This is it?
This is it.
So do we cheers?
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Cheers.
Thank you. Wow. That's lovely. And there's a lot going on in that drink.
A lot of flavors.
Yeah.
And if you can't put it just to one flavor, if they all appear, then it's correct, yeah.
They all appear. And it tastes totally different on the tongue and totally different at the back of the mouth.
Everyone I meet suggests I have to go have a drink with one of their friends or check out the cool work a colleague is doing. I'm feeling so welcomed by this new network of friends I'm forming here in the city. person I meet is Katrin. She's a classically trained flutist with international acclaim for her work. In 2018, she won the Opus Classic, Germany's most prestigious award for classical musicians. We meet for a drink at Heimat, a shop that she owns and features products produced exclusively in the greater Heidelberg region.
After a couple of years, I had the chance finally to do my first disc.
Okay.
The way I wanted to do it, so it was the whole thing, my baby.
So you created your own music, like an album of music.
And then I had a stroke just before the album got released.
Okay.
And after rehab, I was a little bit, can I still become the musician I was before? Would I be able, with the fingerings, with the breathing, everything, would I be able to return?
And how's your music playing been since your stroke? How's the recovery?
It's good again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How long did that take to recover?
I changed a little bit the style of my playing.
Okay.
So before the stroke, it was always that the breathing I was afraid of. I need to breathe. I don't want to breathe because it's not fitting into the music.
Okay.
And I was working together with a pianist for a long time, and he was also working with singers. And he told me, listen, every singer just includes it into the music.
Right.
And it's part of it, and it's beautiful. Just do it this way. And I was, no.
So breathing is wrong.
Breathing is wrong. Don't breathe.
Okay.
So after the stroke, I had to change because I had half of my body that I could not move, and the same with my lung. And so I need to recover my lung, and I accepted that I have to accept also my breathing inside of the music. So it got something like a language in my music. So music is one language, and the breathing is another one, and the two come together.
Wow. Well, that's inspiring.
And I like it.
And you like it. Yeah, no.
It was a challenge, but
It was.
you don't have to say, unfortunately, I had a stroke. It's more, I had another chance. And I also had a chance of changing my life.
Katrin exemplifies the kind of creativity and resilience that I found all over Heidelberg. And as day turns to night, it's time to head back out into the countryside and visit Aubin to watch Robert debut his new autumn menu.
The first menu influenced with a lot of international ingredients. But it felt wrong to use all these ingredients, so from the second menu we started. What if we just reduce products to the local products, or to use just local products? And yeah, we start from the second menu, we start to reduce, took out all the international products, what I say. We stopped to use seawater fishes from that day on. If you can choose from the oceans, you have maybe 50 different fishes you can order. But now we have only 7 over the whole year, which we are rotating. It opens up a whole new creativity because you have to be creative. Overthinking what can I do out of an onion, of a potato, of an egg. Customers was really surprised how we can run a Michelin star restaurant without using their products, but they was also surprised how well it works out. Yeah. They left restaurant, they said they don't miss the lobster, they don't miss the caviar, they don't miss the wagyu, and let us know we are on the right way and we should continue. And the development is more like how it makes sense to eat this dish, and even it should look nice and interesting. But the most important thing is this taste and works out nice. Yeah, if I need something crispy on top, and go with the spoon, and then you have this smooth and crispiness on the blade. That's how we think. And it has to be entertaining also. Imagine to sit 5 hours somewhere. You should be at least a little bit entertained. Sometimes people say there was a different restaurant that was waiting like 1 hour on the main course. It will not happen here. You will get a plate, you will eat it, you will take it, and you will get the next one. And meanwhile, you have conversations, you even can visit us in the kitchen. We take you to our world. When they leave here at night, they always have the feeling. That's what they tell. They was eating at good friends. Good friends was cooking for them. Even here, when we start, we never make commercial. Right. We never pay any money for a commercial. We want to take people to our world and let them go outside and tell about us. And this is working really good.
And now you're booked out till what? 6 months in advance?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Like almost. I mean, on weekdays, you can get a table in 4 months, but on weekends, it's like Friday, Saturday, it's like almost half a year.
Wow.
Really, really good feeling in one way, but you have to talk to the people sometimes when they ring the phone and say, I want to have a table on Saturday night. Yeah. I said, okay, what year?
With a full stomach and a halfway decent understanding of what's in it, I think I can safely say I've had a taste of Heidelberg. And while my meal at Oban will stick with me for quite some time, it's the folks I've met along the way I'll remember most. It's such a dynamic and inspiring bunch here in Heidelberg. One that acknowledges the past, but focuses on the future, constantly reinventing themselves and the city around them while having a blast along the way. And that's something I could definitely get used to.
Oh, I didn't think this was going to go this way. Wow. Okay.
It's time to say goodbye to Heidelberg. We came, we experienced, we met inspiring people, we ate incredible food, and we had a few drinks along the way. But as always, it's time to move on. And yeah, with a heavy heart, we say goodbye to Heidelberg.
This is my S. This here is my W. With a saint shine. This here is a little E. This here with the red X is also a little E. And this part, it's a T. So it's like sweet.